Now, I don't know your position wise on the trail. I come down and I stop at the volleyball, 10-foot meter line, or meter line, 3-foot meter line. I stop there. Understand what they're doing before I go right or left. Okay, whichever way we're gonna go. But if I'm gonna go left into the court, I'm backing up and going left. I'm staying out of passing lanes. I've ducked too many balls being in passing lanes. And hit a couple times too, so. So you wanna stay, if you're gonna make your move, if you're gonna go back, I work the floor. Even till today, I still move on the floor to get the best movement I can to cover the play I have to cover. So your so-called primary vision, you better have 2 secondary visions too. Understand what I'm saying? You got primary, but you better know what's going on here or what's coming up. So if your peripheral vision is wide, that helps you make your adjustment on where you're gonna go. You can give up here because of here. And it's, how can I say that? Like I said, I know all 10 players on the floor and my partners, I know where they are. And if I don't see somebody, I'm backing up. Simple and easy. You got the best view. All players are in view. You can see that screen coming up. You can see that chuck on the baseline on your secondary vision. Your primary 1, primary 2, that can be anybody on the floor. Where the ball is not your primary. Your primary could be something else. So, I know that he put it up there regarding identifying primaries. Yeah. To me, all 10 people are my primaries. I need to know where everybody's at or what they're going to do. That's why I'll go and say, G-Man, what's your offense you're running tonight? And I need to know because I want to know what he's running so I know where's the screen going to come from. I want to be ready prior to knowing that it's going to come. I want to be ready. So everything that I understand on the floor makes it easier for me that night. They're running what, 1-4 out. They're running 5 out. You know, whatever they're running, I want to know so that I can officiate their game. That's all I'm there for, referee their game. Not my game. I'm there as a facilitator for their game. And that's all I was taught before. Understand the game. Mr. Olson was the best in putting that in my head. Understand the game. Know where the screen's coming from. Know where the back cut's coming from. Expect something to happen before it happens. Because something is going to happen in basketball. I don't think there's a time where nothing happens. Oh, on a stop. You as a referee, if you're a referee in the game, you got to be responsible for your partners in saying, identifying the game. Stay wide. You need to come down a little bit more as your adjustments in the game. Like I said, in the first 2 minutes of the game, I don't know what all of you are calling if you're working with me. That's my job to know. And the guys that work with back on the wall, they know I know what they're going to do. So I know when there's a play going to the hole and Robert is the lead, I know what he's going to call. So I don't have to stop and think about it. I know already. So it's good to know, but it's simple, easy. Understand the game. Is there anything more on
one of the things you taught me was run the volleyball lines, okay? what are the advantages or why we should, you know, if there's no pressure, I mean, if you gotta go wide because there's player, you gotta go wide towards the sideline, but what are the advantages of?
When I was taught to use a volleyball line was only because back then it was two-man game also.
Right.
So it was easier to cover the floor if the play's more to the middle.
Mhm.
If it comes your way, you can still move off, but at least you're in a favorable spot on the floor to cover the middle, to make the move that you gotta make.
Yeah. Most times it's not a fast break, so if they're coming down to set up. Now, what's your philosophy on, you're the trail, there's a steal, and got a race going the other way, a couple of guys, and there's no way the trail's gonna get to the closed down spot or to the baseline. What would you tell the guys? I know what I tell them, but what would you say?
If I'm going on a break and all I want to identify first is the defense. I know where the offense is going to go. You all should know where the offense is going to go. So I want to know what the defense is going to do. So I'm either going to go as far as I can to keep the view, or I'm going to come into the floor and get that view. Hopefully nobody's behind the block that's going to take me out. But I pretty much know where they are anyway. So I'm going to make the adjustment I need to make.
You know, if possible, you know, I say use the free throw line extended, you know, usually get there.
Yeah, just below that, baby.
Yeah.
Just below
But
that. Now, if I'm going baseline and I see everything's going, then I'm bucking up back out.
Right.
To make that move, I gotta get to see between. That view is in me all the time, not this view. I want that view, because I don't want anybody saying, he's on his back, and my ear gonna hang, yeah, okay, whatever. So the coverage is you identify the defense and move yourself accordingly to the defense.
Get the angle.
To get the angle that you need to get.
What about the 28, you know, the colleges this year are really pushing, the trail should be at the 28-foot line. We have.
I think every conference is different. I mentioned to you before. Some guys will do that, and then some conference will not. The general thing is to work off a home area first, and they use the 28-foot line. I used that a long time ago, and then make my adjustment.
Right. Yeah. If there's nothing happening, you know, we say get to the 28-foot line and then adjust, especially if you're the trail, because you've got the top of the key. You may have to come back to the referee or play, but we shouldn't be 35 or 40 feet. We shouldn't be at half court as a trail, unless it's a press.
Unless you're 73.
Yeah, well, so, you know, we push, get to the 28-foot line. Now, I always tell the guys, the most important play is the play in front of you. Don't bail as the trail. Who cares what's going to happen down here? The most important play to me is right here.
That's your primary.
Yeah.
That's
And,
your-
I mean, oh, yeah, and don't bail. Sugar bear, what happened there?
Now,
Hustling and walking on the court. Yeah, you talked about it
my
previously.
partner tells me also where to move.
Okay.
Because the center is down further than he needs to be, then I'm coming over as a trail, I'm gonna come over a little bit more.
Chopping the clock on a front court throw-in. The other thing, we'll go back to the 20-foot line. Most of the games we're refereeing, you know, especially a girls' game, these players aren't that big as compared to the college guys. They're on the end line. We should be on the volleyball line a lot and just. We're not refereeing
Yeah,
kids.
I always felt like I adjust to the game.
Right. Okay.
Adjust to the play.
Chopping the clock. Front court throwing. Wherever we should be. Top of the key.
Lazy, chop.
But where, you know, how far back for the trail?
I don't know what you.
28-foot line, well, you know, she could be at the 28-foot line or 35. You know, if everybody's up here, inside the key, inside the top, you know, the 3-point line, where should that trail be to chop the clock? You shouldn't be back at 35 feet away from the.
No, but I want my center up a little bit.
Yeah.
I want her down.
Right.
I want her up a little bit, but I'm gonna take the ball at 28 foot down,
Yeah.
not anything higher.
No, but yeah, okay. But what I'm saying is that they're throwing and then on the end line, the trail to me should be up.
Numbers.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
numbers. If you got 2-4, One official can handle that. You can stay mid-court. You can stay mid-court. You don't have to go any further. Because if something's gonna happen, it's gonna be with these guys here. Now, if they're pressuring the ball the whole time, then you go 28-foot line and help that one player. But normally you go with the numbers. Now, one guy handling 6, 2 guys handling 4, all depends on how much pressure is being put on the ball. Because if you go up there and help and all of a sudden the ball going that way, now you got one guy on 6. That trail official needs to, or center official needs to adjust to the play. They might tell you this is gold, but I'm gonna go platinum. I'm gonna make the move that I need to do for the game. The game has to be in my hands, identifying everything that's there. And if you hear me talking, I will do the game. Again, not the rule book. I will officiate the game. Numbers, and I told my guys at Waianae High School, I told the guy at Waianae, you don't leave one guy with 6, not at Waianae, not at Kuligin, not at Waianae, Kapolege. You gotta have the coverage. You read attitudes, you listen to trash talks, and deal with them individually. Handle each player as they are. Knock it off, or you're sitting down. Whatever it takes, handle that so that the game goes good. Now, I got a guy, I hope we can survive him. He's a rookie, and he's gonna work the non-Kuli Waianae game at Waianae. And that can be very ugly. But the commissioner goes, but you're on the game, Louie. Hello? Even God kept working. But I will do the best I can, because the guy I'm working with, also the other guy, I brought him up from when he first started, and he's strong enough to handle. So we will go into a 2-man game, even though 3 men are there, just to help him to survive. Because there might be a call that he might pass that needs to be called. One of us will be there to help him. I got to get him through the game. Not only to officiate the game, but I want him to survive that game so he can continue working. I can't have him say, no, I don't want this. I got to keep him in the game. We don't have enough officials anyway, so I got to keep him in, and that's my job.
Speaking of concentrating on your primary and stuff, like, they got an official that's fairly new. Can you call from his area? Even though they told you not to call on your, just concentrate on your primary, it's supposed to be. If you see something, well, it happened to me last other night, that's why it's in my head. The game, us three, me, you, and, what's that game we had? Anyway, I was the trail, and he was in the lead. And there's nobody in my primary. And I saw the guy shot, and then he went back, I could see it. I could see in between. So I paused, and then I called foul, because I seen it, and I was waiting for them to call, but I guess he was looking at the TV thing the other night. He got straight line. And then there's like 4 or 5 people, I guess he couldn't see it either, the center. So where I'm at, I could see the whole thing. So I called it. I paused, I called. And then, he missed the shot, so foul. I call foul. If he made it, then I could let it go. So
doing that, understanding that, regarding that. Now, whoever might have been on the game, in my understanding, was you on the game too?
Yeah,
okay. Whoever that person is regarding that, if you're coming in, now, are you making the move that you need to make to sell that call that you got it?
Yeah, I was pretty much, I called it already, and then I had to, yeah.
Yeah, after I called it, I would say, no, I got this one.
No, yeah, that's what I told him.
Okay.
You can see it in there. I said, I got it.
Yeah.
From there. And then the coach questioned me. He said, hey, what was the call? It's not from your primary. I said, hey, coach, whatever's inside this thing, I could call. You know what I mean? If I see something that's, advantage or disadvantage of the players, I will call it. And from my angle, I told him it was a foul. And by rule,
So that was you as a coach. But now
Yeah.
you and your partners, just understanding that that happened, the only thing on me would be, okay, I'm talking to you, I says, now it has to be called, or at least, did you talk to your partners on that one too? On making the call?
It was,
Yeah, I mean, whether it was then or halftime or after the game,
Yeah.
the teamwork has to be together, right? Even if you call it, doesn't matter, because you got a call that you had to make. Okay, that call had to be made. No one can question that, not even a coach. He's gonna ask you where you were when you called it,
Yeah.
which he did, I presume.
Yeah, he did.
But he's not gonna ask you about the call.
Yeah.
It probably was against him anyway, so he's gonna ask you about it anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I'm looking at the teamwork, on the teamwork there. Did you guys talk about it regarding in a sense of, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's all you need to do so that the teamwork is still there.
Yeah, we work real well.
Yeah.
Last 3 days. We
So,
talked about it.
but you know that there's some people like, oh, there's too many guys, the ego trip. Don't want to fuck me.
Yeah. So that's why I paused. You know, I was waiting. I said, hey, you know, if they blew it, they see it or not. So I called it.
Go get it.
Yeah.
I said.
Because I had a guy
That's nobody in my primary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on trail and I see the.
that is your primary.
Yeah.
If nothing happening with you, wherever you look is your primary.
Yep. You help your crew. That's the bottom line.
Come in strong. If you
Yeah.
Come in strong.
I got him. I said the lead no can catch everything, and then he got to look for.
That's why I said, hey, I got it. Right there. Pop. You know,
I'm gonna help my partners out if they.
Don't worry about the coach right now. Right now is just the teamwork together so that everybody understands
Yeah.
that. Okay, I had a guy that would call his neighbor's yard, the other neighbor's yard, and he'd be calling all over the place. He had no worry about the other referees. So this is what I did. Took the whistle, threw it in my shirt. And when something had happened, I didn't hear his whistle. I stopped looking at my dog. Robert, what you got? And he better understand what I'm talking about because he was calling everything before. Wherever, your neighbor's yard, your neighbor's yard, your neighbor, everywhere he was going, he was calling. So I had to tell him, fine. Whistle went in the shirt. And I just stayed there. Well, looked like I was doing something. When something had happened, wasn't a big thing, but something had happened, I looked at him. Robert, what you got? You got everything else. What you got here now? I said, you gotta understand, you can't be calling everything.
Yeah.
Stay in your area. I had to do a board and color it and tell them this is your area. Red, yellow, blue. You're in red, only call red. What did he learn? But he quit. He couldn't deal. Not calling all over the place, I guess.
You mentioned on the reporting and the body language, you know, one of the things I teach, especially for the newer officials, because I think a newer official is scared to death when they have to report a foul, right? You know,
We're all scared to death.
yeah, but they're scared to death. Yeah. So I said, get away from the table.
Not now.
Don't walk into the coach's den. You know, use the baskets which are still on the foul. Stay away from the coaches. Stay away from the table. Stop, like you said before. I think presence, strong signals. It's just perception. Talk about versus. You know, we can walk in and report because we have some credibility left, but what are the advantages, especially for a new person, just to stay away from the table and the bench?
Everything should be 3-point line. Clear the 3-point line. Don't go. No need to go any further. The table, eye contact, and just do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Now again, I step into my signals, whether it's here or just here. I'm taking a step to change my total outlook instead of here. Trouble. To push or step in trouble. Everything changes your look on if you're ready to go or you're not.
The importance of using proper signals and looking strong.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
When you have this, which
I still take a short step.
now he's been telling us Terzer, stationary, 12.
Oh, you stay there. But now to grow and look stronger,
Yeah.
that little cheat step now changes.
Hey, I'm learning something too.
You can stop and then just go one step further. Now it changes the whole look of you being a little stronger in what you do. Now, to make it go stronger, if this guy here has been yakking at me all the time, I'm gonna look at the table and I'm gonna turn to him, push!
That's what I do.
I'm gonna tell him what I do. You can do what you do to get through, to make him believe you. Oh, okay, now I got you. Gary McKnight, one of the knucklehead coaches, but the best coaches that I know. Gary McKnight, Modern Day High School. Gary McKnight wouldn't coach the game because he has an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator on the bench. They coach the team. He just deals with the referees and the other coach. That's all he does. So, refereeing his game, I gotta make sure that if I'm the out of bounds, I'm gonna take it on the right side of him so I can look at what the expression is that the other coach is. And then when I get by the other coaches, they'll say, what did Gary say? He wanted to know where you guys going for a beer tonight. I'm not telling him what but Gary doesn't say anything. He just looks at it. And everybody says, oh, what is he telling the referee now? But he's not saying nothing. They just know Gary does. But Gary knows certain referees that he will talk to and try to get something from him. Say, Louie, I'm getting screwed. You're not my type, I'm sorry. Just something I would say, because I can deal with that. But then again, that's my personality. And they know. Now, Gary McKnight went to a camp in Santa Barbara as a speaker. So I was outside in the hallway. I didn't want to be inside. Who's the first person he's calling? Where's Louie? Where's Louie? The only reason he called me in was to say, if there's a block charge call and Louie's calling it, I got nothing to say. Because I'm gonna call it quickly, it's gonna be defined, and you ain't gonna get nothing to talk about. Because I'm gonna come out and say block charge, whatever it is, right away. There's no delay, no nothing. So he doesn't even bother me when I make a block charge call. And that's what he wanted to tell the referees that was in the clinic. You're gonna make it. Make it. Sell it somehow. Your way. Not anybody else's way. Your way. Whatever it takes to make them say, okay, I believe you now.
Start, develop, finish, and then make a decision. Primarily with the someone going to the hole, gathering, is it on the floor or is he shooting? What do you look for in that?
Dribble, two-hand pick up, he's going to the hole. Unless he passes someone. But if he's got, once he picks up that ball, two hands, he's going airborne. You gotta put him in active shooting. He's now giving up. If he's dribbling, he's on the floor. But once he picks it up and going, you gotta put him airborne. Like I said, unless he gets airborne, then he passes it off. But a shooter is a shooter once he gathers the goal. That's it. That's even in the book.
Yeah.
That's even in the book.
Commences a habitual whatever of shooting. Yeah, sometimes I think
Yeah, but you
that's
gotta
an
watch
area
when
we
it
as
bumps
an
before it
association
kick up.
need to
That's
work
what you
on.
gotta watch.
Right there.
Our question in our meeting one night was, the habitual, what's the habitual motion of shooting, which is when he grabs the ball to go up for a shot. He gets hit
Default.
severely enough to where he cannot finish a shot, so he passes it off. So then everybody goes, no shot, you know, but he,
That's an official decision at that point in
that's
time.
what it was, yeah.
There's nothing you can do in changing the guy making up his mind. Like sometimes I'm gonna go up and my partner will come, Louie, pass it off. Okay, we're done. Because once you change your direction from going there to go somewhere else, you're no longer shooting. Even if the contact is made. Now you made your decision, you either finish or you're gonna give it up. Now, that's no different like as a drive, draw, dish, because you're drawing the defense, you're getting hit, but you're getting it off so the ball goes to the hole. And if you understand basketball, you're not gonna call that mosquito, you're gonna wait for that dragon, so you're gonna let the mosquito go. Contact hand. Contact hand with ball in possession. Is that a foul? No. Hand's part of the ball. Hand's part of the ball. But how many shooters go shoot and it's clearly hand on the ball, but you got a foul? That's a block. But it happens so quickly that most referees go foul. Now I can understand if the defender's hand is down a little way, then you got part of the wrist below. But if you're watching a play and it's a clean contact up top, the shot is still part of the ball. So you're knocking it away. Hands part of the ball, in contact with the ball.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, that,
But anything else like over here. and
Wrist
down-
below is a foul.
Yeah,
Automatic.
that's a foul. There you go.
No question.
Yeah.
But any part of the hand
Is part of
with
the
ball
ball.
in possession is contact with the ball. It's in the book too.
the